Hi everyone, welcome. I'm preparing to feed one of my systems. It's the VermiBag Mini that's suspended within this wooden frame over here. And as you can see over here on the corner of the bench, there's some food for them over there. I just ground up a number of paper towel rolls and toilet paper rolls. So this is going to be their bedding today. Very similar to what they got last time. Last time it was just a bunch of dry shredded paper bag basically. This time it's thin cardboard, not corrugated cardboard. I've got my worm chow, I've got some grit over there. So before we get started, I thought I'd share a little bit of info about this system with you. The age of the system, only 6 days away from hitting its 6-month anniversary. 182 days is half a year in age. And the system is due today. I think after 12 days it's probably due for a feeding. For its 15th feeding. It's been fed 14 times so far. And really quick, before we put the little board away, the estimated worm count in this system, at least on the day of the launch of the system, was 3,143 wormies. So let's slip on a glove and get on down here and see how the worms are doing today. My hope by having this plastic bag out here, my hope was that this paper would absorb some of the moisture from down within the system. As the moisture down low tries to evaporate out, this plastic bag would theoretically catch it and then sort of force all that freshly added dry paper to be in a sort of a humid area. How well that worked or didn't work remains to be seen. I mean, it's not completely bone dry, but it certainly doesn't have much moisture content to it either. I mean, I've got my squirt bottle right here all set to go. I just filled it up the other day. I even pumped it up, so it should be pressurized and just a trigger pull away from dispensing moisture should we decide to apply it. You know what? I'm reminded now of the last video where we definitely saw a couple flying insects. I thought it was in here. And we applied some of my mosquito dunk solution, which is my method of combating the flying insects. But you know, I think if I had seen one, I think my eyes would have sort of been drawn to it and I would have noticed. So perhaps we were kind of just at the end of the flying insect situation in here, because I don't know, I didn't see anything. Perhaps when I play the video back later I'll be able to better see what was going on in here, but I'm pretty sure I didn't see any flying insects. So let's just do a quick excavation of the feeding zone, see what kind of stuff we've got going on in here. When I built this system, all I did was I dumped out a couple buckets that I had going. Those buckets had been going exactly 6 months. So on day 182, those buckets, rather than being harvested for their castings or anything like that, it was just a simple emptying of the buckets right into here, which really started this system out 6 months ago, or almost 6 months ago at this point, as almost like a ready to be harvested package of castings at the very bottom. So it's because of that nice big package of castings down low within the system that I'm really preferring not to dig down deep and disrupt how things are down low in the system. So once in a while I'll just till down a little bit, make sure things are kind of damp and comfortable, but typically I wouldn't want to go very deep in here. So I'm just sort of arranging all the different things that I encounter along the way. So yeah, what I was starting into about the buckets was that this was the pumpkin stem that was in one of the buckets, but each bucket had pumpkin stem in it, and that was by far the largest. So if we bump into more pumpkin stems, don't be surprised, because this system was started out with a number of them. These gourds are kind of interesting too. Look how the worms enjoy being down inside this thing. There's just so many of them in there. I almost feel bad emptying it out and dumping them out, but I am always curious to see how things look inside of these things. What I had actually hoped to do was maybe sneak in here. Oh my gosh, look at these little guys. They're jammed in there so tight they can't even be shaken out. They're like crammed in there. It's awesome. That was pretty interesting. This one little guy just showed up out of nowhere. All his little friends had already gone down into the little mini pumpkin, and I don't know where this guy came from. He must have been hiding around the side. So yeah, my thought was just to come in here and stuff all these full of food. That would definitely increase the worm interest and traffic. Except in here, we'll just leave this one be. I could probably shake this one out, although who knows. The other ones were pretty easy to shake empty, but I'm not sure about that one. Oh boy, okay, now we're getting down where the last feeding was applied. 12 days ago, maybe there's still some leftovers. Yeah, I could see like even a chunk of pumpkin skin right here. A little tiny sign of leftovers. Just wondering, are there any other larger... Definitely there has to be. More pumpkin stem for sure. Kind of what I was expecting to find more of. I think we had finally decided that maybe we're just going to start crumbling some of these pumpkin stems because there were so many of them. I just never really kept track of the activity. Did I do any or many? At least once, I'm sure I did. This might be pumpkin stem. It's hard to tell. So, man, you know, I thought almost for sure that I'd be squirting water in here, but I don't really feel like it's needed. I dig down a little bit and it's already nice and damp everywhere, and maybe even so damp that it might benefit from getting some of this dry, not totally dry, but somewhat drier material blended into it. So I've got more, right? I've got that whole little, not a whole tub, but maybe halfway. It's a pretty good amount of shredded cardboard, not corrugated cardboard, just the thin single layer. Here's some banana peel. I think that's from 2 feedings ago. Still showed up last time in the video as leftovers. More larger chunks of this and that, perhaps more pumpkin stems. But yeah, you know, let's shove stuff out to the edges so we can open up the hole a little bit, and then in can come some of this nice fresh stuff. We've got, well, it's mostly potato, but it's all dressed up to look like it's more. So I grabbed a handful of this, handful of that from a couple other bags, but the majority of what they're getting is just potato skins. And this old feeding zone indicator, this can just go in here as supplementary bedding too, since we've got a nice replacement feeding zone indicator to put right on top of where we last fed, just so we can be reminded on where we place the food. That's a pretty nice size feeding. Let's blend in some more of this really nice surrounding material. This is going to almost guarantee that that stuff is going to get nice and damp. I always forget about these larger objects that need to also get put back in, down into the bedding. And this really popular one, what do we maybe stick this right in the middle here? Right in the middle of all the frozen food, so all the wormies that are in there are going to have to wait for that food to thaw out a little bit before they can come out and take a closer look at what they've been given. But I'm sure they'll like what they see when they get there. It's a pretty nice assortment. So, still got some coffee. I got my worm chow here, and I think that's a pretty nice feeding. The topper is going to be that nice big pile of shredded cardboard to once again level the top off. I haven't put my worm chow in yet. This is for some grit, some pulverized eggshell. This is my worm chow. Mainly pumpkin seed, some noodles, whatever I've got around. And I might be needing to make some more pretty soon. Alright. In the last video that I just tore my gloves, so I always try to get as many uses out of these rubber gloves as I can, so I'm trying to resist the urge to like press down hard here, because all these chunks of gourd are sticking out in places and they're almost certain to tear my poor glove here if I'm not careful. So I'm just going to leave it be because we're covering it all up anyway. I'm going to level the whole thing off, and once again we're going to hope that perhaps some of this moisture that's recirculating in this system ends up in this new top covering of pretty much sterile, dry, boring stuff that the worms are not going to be too interested in. But I still feel like adding moisture is not necessary, which is kind of cool. You know, potatoes, I'm not sure how much moisture comes in with potatoes, There was some other stuff in there, some frozen veggies, this and that. Clearly the worm chow and coffee bring practically nothing, but somehow this system's been doing quite nice from a moisture perspective. I can't complain. So that's it for our check-in with the VermiBag. Fun little check-in. It's always interesting to see how some of those weird decorative pumpkins, gourds, whatever are coming along. They're coming along pretty good if you ask me. They've been in here for a while, but I didn't expect them to, get broken down quickly. I think what I'm seeing is pretty much what I expected. So fun stuff. All right, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.